Good morning and welcome. I'm Maria from UHS Events, and today is our week 3 Mindfulness Monday. Gratitude is an attitude. If you have not already subscribed to our page, please do so. It is the UHS Events Team CPP, and we will have 2 more weeks of mindfulness for you. So today we will be going over our presentation, and that is based off of this wonderful book called The Magic. You might have known of The Secret. There's also The Power, but a lot of the presentation comes from this book. And then we will also be doing a guided meditation visualization from Awaken the Spirit Within. And the resources will be down in the caption for this video. So if you want to check them out yourself and maybe purchase the book, you can. So a few housekeeping rules before we begin. There will be an activity where you are writing, so make sure you have a pen and then something to write on. I love journals, so this is one of my gratitude journals, and then I have a specific gratitude journal that helps every day, every week it has like a quote, and then it has opportunities to write what you're grateful for. So I think it's a great purchase, but you don't need to have that with you right now, just something to write on, because there will be an opportunity to write what you're grateful for, because I think it's important that we practice gratitude and not just talk about it. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen with you all so we can see the presentation. Right. Just let me know if you cannot see this or if you're having trouble hearing me, either by speaking or writing in the chat box. Okay, so gratitude. I really loved this quote. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the morning light, for your life and strength. Give thanks for your food and the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies in yourself. And that was said by a Shawnee Native American leader, struggle with how to pronounce it, but I loved that idea that we're here this morning and we're focusing on what gratitude is and showing that. And really, with what's going on right now in the world, we cannot necessarily fix what's happening outside of ourselves, but we can shift and focus how we look at it. And I think that's a huge part of what mindfulness is. And if you've gone to any of our previous events, we talked about mindfulness isn't that we don't have negative thoughts. It's that when we have that thought, we acknowledge it, we recognize it, and we shift focus back to our intention. So if our intention is positive and grateful to be alive right now, then yes, we might have these negative feelings of, oh, it's tough that we're inside, but then we shift focus back to, I have my health and I have the internet and I can go to these wonderful events put on by UHS Events. So I think that's something that I think is important. Okay, moving forward. Always important to start off with what is a definition of what we're talking about. So this comes from Psychology Today. Gratitude is an emotion expressing appreciation for what one has. It is a recognition of value independent of monetary worth, spontaneously generated from within, and it is an affirmation of goodness. Research shows that people differ in the degree to which they are inclined to experience and express gratitude. So I think it's important to kind of know what we're talking about before we dive into it. And it is something that is personal and it can be expressed differently based off of yourself. So I think that is important too, that we all practice it a little bit differently. I know for myself, I have aromatherapy going on. You might hear a little bit of music in the background. In fact, what I'm using for aromatherapy is Blissful Magic Blend. And the reason behind that is because it gets me into a state where I can be more mindful and I can focus more on that. And these are just things that are pathways that can help you, but that might not be your speed. That might not be your style. You might not need that. So do whatever feels most comfortable for you. So we're going to go into watching a video. So I'm going to turn off my music for a second. We're going to watch the video.
Okay, what can you do right now to begin to turn your life around? I'll tell you, start making a list of things to be grateful for. Start with that, because this shifts your energy. It starts to shift your thinking. Where before this exercise, you might be focusing on what you don't have, and you might be focusing on your complaints, and you might be focusing on whatever the problems are. When you do this exercise, you start to go in a different direction. You start to be grateful for all the things that you feel good about.
Gratitude is absolutely the way to bring more into your life.
Every man knows that when his wife's appreciating him for the little things he does, what does he want to do? He wants to do more. It's always about appreciation. It pulls things in. It attracts support.
I've said for many years that whatever we think about and thank about, we bring about.
Because that's that feeling that you have to have, you know, and so for me, it's been such a powerful exercise every morning to get up and say thank you. Every morning when my feet hit the floor, thank you. And then I start running through what I'm grateful for as I'm going to brush my teeth and do the things I do in the morning. And I'm not just thinking about them and doing some rote routine, but I'm putting it out there and I'm feeling the feelings of gratitude.
Because as soon as you start to feel differently about what you already have, you will start to attract more of the good things, more of the things you can be grateful for. Because you can look around and say, well, look, I don't have the car I want, I don't have the house I want, I don't have the health I want, I don't have the spouse I want. Oh, back up, back up. Those are all the things you don't want. Focus on what you already have that you're grateful for. And it might be you have the eyes to watch this. It might be the clothes that you have. Yes, you might prefer something else, and you might get something else pretty soon if you start feeling grateful for what you have.
I think everybody goes through times when they say, oh man, things aren't working right, or things are going bad, and there were some things going on in my family, and I found a rock. I was just sitting here holding this rock. You might see me carrying around. I found a rock. I stuck it in my pocket, and I said, you know what? Every time I touch this rock, I'm going to think of something that I'm grateful for. And so every morning when I get up in the morning, I pick it up off the dresser, I put it in my pocket, and I go through the things that I'm grateful for. At night, what do? You empty your pocket, and there it is again. And I've had some different experiences with that. I've had some amazing experiences. I had a guy from South Africa, and he saw me drop it. He said, what is that?
Well, what's that?
I explained it to him, so he started calling it a gratitude rock.
Gratitude rock.
2 weeks later, I got an email from him, from South Africa. And he said, my son is dying from a rare disease. It's a type of hepatitis. He said, would you send me 3 gratitude rocks? Now, they're just rocks I found off the street, you know? So I said, sure. I had to make sure that the rocks were very special. And so I went out to the stream, looked, picked out the right rocks, and sent them off to him. 4 or 5 months later, I get an email from him. He said, my son's better. He's doing terrific. And he said, but you need to know something. He says, we've sold over 1,000 rocks at $10 a piece as gratitude rocks, and we've raised all this money for charity. Thank you very much. And so it's very important to be in an attitude of gratitude, as I call it.
Another thing that I would suggest that you do right now to turn your life around, and this is so huge that I can't find the words to describe just how powerful this can be for you.
I took the visualization process from the Apollo program and instituted it during the 1980s and 90s into the Olympic program. And it was called Visual Motor Rehearsal. When you visualize, then you materialize. And the interesting thing about the mind is we took Olympic athletes and then hooked them up to sophisticated biofeedback equipment and had them run their event only in their mind. Incredibly, the same muscles fired in the same sequence when they were running the race in their mind as when they were running it on the track. How could this be? Because the mind can't distinguish whether you're really doing it or whether it's just a practice. I think if you've been there in the mind, you'll go there in the body.
All right. So lots of stuff there to unpack. What I just want to open it up to folks if they wanted to share their thoughts of what we just watched. Now,
Can I say something?
of course, yeah.
I just want to say how he also like it kind of referred to saying little things matter, and then that kind of impacts you into thinking bigger. That's from what I saw from it.
Yeah, definitely. This comes from a documentary on The Secret, but that's the author of the book is also the author of The Magic. And so I think it introduces some really important concepts behind the why of gratitude too, or why it can be helpful and beneficial to our lives. Obviously, the example that was given about the child who was very ill and the gratitude rock, did the rock have any like magical healing powers? No, but the belief behind that rock, the belief that it could be and that it would bring out that health is ultimately what influenced that positive outcome of the child recovering. So I think it's important, and in that it's like who holds the belief. It's we as individuals that hold that belief. And so what can we do? We can do so much if we go within and we express our inner hopes and dreams, like what we're thankful for. And so the next slide kind of emphasizes that. So it's a combination of how the law of attraction and gratitude work. So Sir Isaac Newton is the one who coined the law of attraction. Every action always has an opposite and equal reaction. So in thinking about this, it's the more that you put your attention and your focus on things, the more you bring that into your life. So the universe doesn't recognize the not. So if you say, I don't want this, no, it's still going to hear what it is that you want, like what you're talking about, and it's going to bring that into your life. So the more you focus on the negative, the more that you maybe watch the news and you think this is terrible, this is horrible, I don't know what's going to happen, the more your emotional state is going to be in that uncertainty, the more you're going to see things that are going to create for you that sense of anxiety or that things are negative, the more you will focus on that. Your brain is going to focus on that, and that's what your life will look like. And it's, again, it's coming from you and putting that focus on it. But I mean, just think about it with your friends. If you start off a conversation kind of like talking about stuff that you don't like about others, then they start telling you stuff, and that's kind of how you get into talking about drama that doesn't necessarily end well for you or any of the parties who are involved, because you've now created where that friend might want to talk to you about those negative things continually, and then you miss out on, like, why were you friends to begin with? Maybe because you loved going for hikes or whatever that is. So I think you can apply it to anything in your life. And so when you apply gratitude to the law of attraction, it's looking at it like this. Every action of giving thanks always causes an opposite reaction of receiving. And what you receive will always be equal to the amount of gratitude you've given. So knowing that the law of attraction is true, the more that you are thanking the universe, or you're thanking just life for having things in your life, then you'll receive more of that in your life, because that's the opposite reaction. You're giving, and then you're going to receive, and it's always to the level that you're giving. So if you really want something positive back, the more that you express your gratitude, the positive that is. Any questions about that? I know it can kind of be like, in some ways simplistic, and then in other ways complex. So any questions about like the law of attraction and gratitude? Okay, we'll move on. Okay, so that sounds really great, right? Of course, if we're grateful for things, we want more of those things. So how do we apply gratitude to our lives? How do we bring that magic in? So the magic formula is to deliberately think and say the magic words, thank you. It's really important that we express our gratitude and we use the words to express that thank you being that. The more that we deliberately think and say the magic words of thank you, the more gratitude we'll feel. So obviously, when we have words, they represent things and ideas, and our mind is a powerful place. Like thinking can make it a reality. Like if you've ever woken up from a dream and you're still feeling those feelings, it's because our brain can't differentiate, which that was the second part of that video talking about the visualize. So I think it's important that we say the words and think on it, because then we'll experience those feelings. We'll influence our emotional state to actually feel blessed, to feel happy for the things that we do have. Because when we are grateful, you know, that's a positive emotion, that's a positive feeling. And so the more gratitude that you deliberately think and feel, then the more you're going to receive. Okay, so that's the magic formula. Think, be thankful, think and feel that thankfulness, and then get ready to receive it. So we're gonna go and talk about a couple of things that we can do to bring gratitude into our lives. Okay, so the first exercise is to count your blessings. So I did mention in the beginning that you wanted to have a pen and paper, and I use my notebook, but it's important in the first thing that you do in the morning, and this can start your day off in a really great state, because again, what you focus on is kind of what you're going to continually see. So you can start the day off on the right foot by writing things that you are thankful for. So these are just some examples of how you could start off writing. So I am truly blessed to have blank because blank. I am so happy and grateful for blank because, and then explaining the why. I am truly grateful for, and because I'm truly grateful for this with all my heart. Thank you for whatever that is, and because. So these are just like examples of how you could start writing off your blessings. So it's important, again, that we do that so that, you know, you're focusing on those positive things that bring you joy and happiness and fulfillment in your life. And so that you're in that great emotional state, which can create more creativity, connection, and positivity among others. And that's infectious. Okay, so let's actually take some time to count. So I want you to make a list of 10, and with that to explain the why behind it. So part of the process, and you don't have to finish this part with us, but after you kind of write all of it, the next step is to read that list and to actually say the magic words, thank you, aloud or within your head for 3 times to really let the universe know that you are thankful for it, and also to get into the state of feeling it. And this is something that you can do every day, every morning you can do this. Like I said, my journal that I have, it has 3 options, you know, so 10 is a lot, but you know, like the more you're grateful for, the more you're going to get in that area. So you could have 20 if you wanted to, whatever is manageable for you to get into that, that situation of feeling grateful. So I am going to put my background music back on, and I'm going to give you this time. Let's say a good 5 to 10 minutes to write down on your list what you're grateful for, and then I'll ask if anyone wants to share when we're done. All right.
if you're looking to tone,
come to Workout Wednesday. Just a couple more minutes. Just finish up your lists and your reasons why. And we'll share. All right, one more minute. All right, finishing up. Does anyone want to share one of the things that they ended up writing? Just gonna keep this in the background, quiet.
I want to say my home because I still have shelter over my head compared to other people might not.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is great. I think one of the things that I'm super thankful for is Zoom and just being able to like have the ability to do this and to continually have the community through this feature. If I didn't have the internet, if I didn't have Zoom capabilities, that I wouldn't get to interact with folks that I love and bring joy into my life. And then also, you know, I wouldn't be able to attend some of these virtual events that I find really fun and helpful. I'm just going to check the chat.
I would say one of the things that I'm thankful for, aside from, I think the most important thing for me is my health, because being healthy allows me to do things that I love to do. But aside from that, one of my favorite things is my ability to travel. So I'm blessed to be able to travel. didn't travel much when I was younger. We didn't have any family vacations or anything like that because we couldn't afford it. So it wasn't until I graduated college and I had a job that I was able to actually pay and start really traveling. So I'm definitely blessed for that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Katie. And then in the chat, Christy shared that she's grateful for CPP dining, so Centerpoint. Their breakfast is just the best, and I can totally agree. I live for their breakfast. There's bacon every morning, and I am very grateful when there is bacon. Perfect. Okay, so thank you for participating in this exercise. Again, this is something that you could do every morning just to get into that space of being grateful and the positivity that comes from that. Again, when you express your gratitude, then you're opening yourself up to receive that equal level back. Okay, so the next part about this is that you can use the magic rock. So similar to the guy from the video, it's hard to see. This is my magic rock that I often will carry around with me. I like it because it's nice and smooth, so smooth it falls out of my hands. But it's important for you to identify a rock or a token, something that feels good for your hand. I like mine because it fits perfectly in there. And this is something that you want to keep by your bedside or keep with you, something that you often go to and hold. And so before bed, it's important that you revisit the blessings that you've counted in the morning. And again, you've already said the thank yous 3 times to each of those things, and feeling the gratitude for those things. It's important you revisit that and you hold this rock. So hold your rock or your token and think about your blessings. And it's important to add to it, what was the best thing that happened throughout the day? So obviously you're counting your blessings in the morning. That's before things have happened. So it's important to focus on what was something that was great that you're grateful for that happened that day, and to thank, to say out loud or within your head, thank you for that, and to feel it while holding this rock. And what's helpful to that is like, I think I like it because I'm more of a tactile person. Like, it makes it more real to me to have this thing that I'm holding on to, and like I can squeeze on it and make it like a little bit more intense for me. But also I feel like there's an energy behind that, and like, this is just me, right? It may or may not be true, but I feel like it carries this energy. So when I do hold this rock, I instantly feel a lot more positive. And clearly something I care about. You might have noticed I have this moon necklace, and I got this actually at a Second Saturday in downtown Pomona, which I can't wait for those to reopen. I think they are a great opportunity to engage with the community in a thoughtful way. And there was a local vendor called Ember and Stone that was selling these. And so just like as far as ideas on what it's supposed to mean, this dark moon is supposed to mean new possibilities, all that you wish, new journeys, and attaining your goals. So that's the shape. And then the stone itself is obsidian. And so it's supposed to help shield you and protect you, and keep you strong. And so one of these things is that in wearing this, it's staying true to like what my energy is and my own thoughts, and not kind of letting what's happening around me and other people's energies influence that. So I find it really grounding, and it is helpful, especially when I'm doing an exercise where like I want that positivity to kind of retain that within myself and not get affected by others. And again, it works for me because I believe that it works for me. And so these are some of the things that I use to help me. But whatever works for you is, you know, something that you should practice. So these are only ideas. And again, I feel like the magic rock is helpful in many ways. It tells me like, this is the time that I'm going to go and count my blessings and think about the best things that happened today. So try it out. When you get a chance, try to find one of those. Okay, So the book, The Magic, it talks about all different aspects of your life that you can use gratitude to improve, between like money, intimate relationships, achieving your goals and your dreams. So like highly encourage you read it, because each of the chapters at the end has a section on how you can do that. I just wanted to emphasize and focus, given the current pandemic that we're in, on health. And so one of the exercises that you can do is to write on a piece of paper, the gift of health is keeping me alive. And this is a piece of paper that you want to put where you would often see it. And then on at least 4 occasions, you want to read the words slowly and feel grateful for the precious gift of your health. So it doesn't matter where your health is at, just being grateful for what you do have and seeing that will help you to exude that. And again, the hope is, with the law of attraction, that you will receive that back. You'll receive great health. And it is something that you can focus on instead of focusing on potentially being sick, potentially, getting coronavirus, which I don't think is a healthy mindset to be in. And having a strong mind is helpful in navigating what we're going through, to not be susceptible to disease, and it's allergy season too, right? So I found it very helpful to me to always think that I am healthy, and to not focus too much on like, I feel a little sick, to focus more on the positives. And I really haven't been sick often as a result. So I think that I can get over it quickly. Again, my beliefs. So use it, see if it's helpful to you. But I just thought, as far as picking out of this book something that might be helpful, you can try this one out. I use the one in the book about money. So if you were ever to come over, you would see that in my space, like in a very visible way. So I recommend checking out the book. Okay, moving on. I did say we're going to do a guided exercise. So one of the things that, I think I've emphasized enough a lot of the stuff that I like. I also like tarot card readings. And so, of course, this book, Awaken the Spirit, is actually written by a medium, a psychic. And so I definitely find like a lot of interest in it. But regardless, I do feel like this book has a bunch of different exercises that talks upon different things that we can do to get more centered. So a lot of her process of being able to read other people's energies or receive messages is getting into a good meditative state, and just being with herself and being in regulation of her own emotions and whatnot, which, regardless of whether you believe in psychics or not, I think is good, helpful tactics to living a healthy, mindful life. So for her, she talks about how gratitude is something that occurs within the belly. You feel it in your stomach. And so from her book, A Happy Belly Really Does Make a Happy Person. And so I'm going to actually read from her book this guided meditation. So I'm going to make the music a little bit louder, and then I'm going to start reading from this. So. Okay. So I need you to close your eyes. Just take a deep breath. Make sure your eyes are closed. And become aware of the rhythm of your breath. In and out. Take several deep abdominal breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. So we're going to do that together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. each new breath, I want you to focus on relaxing your entire body from the top of your head down through your feet. So each breath, focus on your whole body. Start from the top of your head, go to your feet. Now I want you to imagine yourself in your favorite natural setting. So think on your favorite natural setting, and I want you to envision that you are a magnificent tree. Your roots are grounded into the earth, and your head is reaching high up to the sky. As you're thinking on that, you are the tree grounded in the earth. I want you to take more deep, relaxing breaths to feel centered and to ground you in this space. Okay, so breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And once you feel centered and grounded, put your attention and focus on your belly. Where your belly is, visualize a spark of golden yellow light beginning to warm up there. Your belly is the midpoint between your upper and lower body, the upper and lower root system of the tree of life. With each inhalation, imagine this golden yellow light filling up every inch of your belly. Feel the light expand, loosen, open, and unblock any stuck energy in your belly so that the divine light of gratitude and beauty can flow freely through you. Breathe deeply and easily. Set the intention to awaken a depth of love and gratitude for everything and everyone you encounter. Throughout the rest of your day, let your breath serve as a reminder that you're an extension of creation, and as such, divine beauty, compassion, and gratitude reside within you. And if at any time you forget or doubt this, repeat mentally or aloud, I recognize the gifts in every situation, appreciating the opportunity to learn and grow. And to yourself, repeat this. I recognize the gifts in every situation, appreciating the opportunity to learn and grow. And with that, you may now open your eyes. How are you all feeling? Anyone want to share? Okay.
Well, I tried going to the chat box. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
This is Christy, and I really loved the meditation and the thought, and just like thinking about those words. I feel like they really resonated with me right now. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for sharing, Christy. And again, this is coming from the Awaken the Spirit Within book. And I really love that there's a lot of those at the end of each chapter. The only sad part is that you can't read and meditate at the same time. So it's helpful, at least in this space, for it to be read to you. So I recommend reading it, making a voice memo, and then doing it yourself if you really love them. And this one I like particularly because I've used it in the past and I definitely feel a difference. So again, if you believe it's having that impact, it can. Okay, so I want to thank you all for participating and being here this morning, and really taking the time to be grateful for what you're going through, and I'm so thankful to have this space. So just leaving it with this, a thankful person is thankful under all circumstances. So it's important to know that no matter what's going on in our lives, there's always the ability to choose to be grateful and to see the positive. And that's why I talked about gratitude as an attitude that you can navigate and to choose. And again, that's part of that mindfulness. It's not that negative things don't happen to us. It's not that we don't have negative thoughts. We're allowed to have that. We're allowed to really feel our emotions. And I think last week was a good opportunity to feel the emotions, to get that out. And on Thursday, we're going to be having a conversation within our community about what we're feeling and experiencing. So I encourage you to attend that this Thursday at 3 to really engage in our feelings. It's important to be aware of them, to acknowledge them, to experience them. And then, from there, we can be more empowered in our choice of where we want to focus our perspective, where we want to put our attention. And so thank you again for being here and deciding to put your attention on the things that are going well in your life, and for not taking that for granted, because I think we can attest to it even in our best relationships, our best friend, our partners. We know that they love us, but it always feels good to hear that thank you and that appreciation for the things that are going well. And so it's important that we make sure that we talk about that too, because the more we think that, the more we're going to get that into our lives. So if you could just apply that to any aspect of your life, if there's something you really love, show that love, show that appreciation so that you can get more. So thank you again for being here. And if you are not following us, make sure you're following us at CPP_UHS Events. And we will see you next Monday.